What's up guys? This is Evan with Backwoods Adventure Mods. Today I'm going to introduce one of our newest and coolest products, and that's our Universal Adventure Box. So if you've been following us for a while, you'll know that back when we used to do more van products, storage boxes like these were one of our top items. So we know boxes as well as we know bumpers. This thing's packed full of some really awesome features. We're going to go through those, and we'll also look at some ways that you might install it. The first thing to point out is that you can mount this box either way, depending on whether you want the door to open left or right. On the front door, we have this awesome MOLLE panel / door stiffener, which really adds a lot of strength to the door and gives you an almost infinite mounting area up front for anything you want to permanently or just even temporarily hook on it while you're camping. We've got another nice MOLLE panel on the side, which also is pre-drilled for some Rotopax mounts. Also, we have this military spec breather on each side of the box, and what that does is it helps equalize the pressure, temperature, and moisture content of the inside of the box, which really cuts down on condensation inside the box. Next up, the latch and the hinges. So the latch is really strong, it's double locking, and what I mean by that is you can use the key to lock it so you can't turn this, or you can throw a padlock through the handle, or both. Also, the hardware is concealed, so it's tamper-proof. Just like our new hinges. So we switched over to these friction hinges for a few reasons. One, they look great. Two, they're also tamper-proof, meaning the hardware is concealed, and also you don't need a gas strut anymore because they have friction to them, so the door stays wherever you put it, which is really convenient if you're parked on a hillside or in the wind. Coming around to the inside of the box, what I really think sets us apart, and it's probably my favorite part of the box, is this accessory shelf, which you can mount to the accessory rails in the back and really customize it to fit your needs. It's nice for kind of separating stuff that might need to be dirty, say on the bottom of the box, versus something clean that would go on the shelf, or maybe it's just different types of organization. We've got guys that like to throw their muddy boots in the bottom and keep other gear up top. Maybe if this is your cooking cabinet, maybe you throw some charcoal in the bottom and you've got utensils up top, or if you're mountain biking, it could be your shoes on the bottom and your helmet up top, extra fluids. So many different ways you can use it. I also want to point out this automotive grade gasket that helps seal out the elements and the weather, and this latch cover. And this is a key piece because without this, when your latch is closed and you bounce down the trail, if your gear falls against the latch, it might be propped in a way that you can't open the box. So this latch cover is really important. And of course, on the one you receive, this will be powder coated. Let's go over what comes with the box. So it's everything you see here. The shelf, the MOLLE panels, the hardware, these little rubber plugs, which we'll go over in a minute, the keys. And I need to point out that these two MOLLE panels I installed ahead of time for the video. They actually ship loose and inside the box for their own protection. But installing them is really easy. You'll use, it's the same hardware for every step along the way pretty much. It's these black button head bolts. They go through the outside. There's no washer for the bolt side because the laser cut hole is the perfect size. There's no washer needed. On the inside, we use these sealing bonded washers, and those feel really nice. They make the install a little bit easy because once you put the washer over the bolt can't fall back out, and it kind of gives you a guide on how tight to tighten your nut, because right when you see the rubber part of the bonded washer squish out, you know it's about the right tightness. Whichever side you don't put the side panel on, you'll have those 4 holes exposed, so we send these 4 little rubber plugs, and they just snap in. It's such a satisfying snap. For the shelf, grab the hardware kit labeled shelf mounting. It's just the carriage bolts and some nuts. They go in from the outside, and you're just going to want to thread the nut a little ways. I'm going to show you how to put this in now, but you might find it easier to wait to actually bolt it in until after you've mounted it, because you're going to be in and out of here a few times with hardware and tools getting the actual box mounted up. But when you're ready, the square part of these carriage bolts is going to ride in this T-track, so you're going to push it back and down. So just push those out where the carriage bolt has some room, and you can kind of do one side at a time. And then you just grab a 7/16 and tighten those up. Now, they're adjustable every few inches, but if you get into a situation where you wish it was just a little bit higher, you can absolutely run these in the top of the T-slots, not just the bottom. So you can raise it up and gain almost an extra inch that way if you have some obstruction underneath or above it. Now we're going to go ahead and mount the actual box. Now you can mount this to anything. It's universal. So anything with a flat surface or some mounting rails, maybe the back of a camper. For us, it's really common to mount it on one of our swing outs, and that's what we're going to do here today. So the basic procedure is put it where you want it, mark some holes, and drill the holes through the box. We have some holes and we're going to utilize 4 of them to mount this box. If you don't have holes in whatever you're mounting it to, just drill holes through the box and that surface. It's pretty universal, pretty easy. It's ideal for adjustability of the shelf if you can keep your holes outside these rails because they'll never interfere with the shelf. But if you do have to utilize this area for mounting, try to have an idea of where your shelf is going to be, because you don't want to put any hardware where the back of the shelf is because it would interfere. So if you know you're going to have your shelf here, just maybe draw a line and show not to drill any holes there. All right, step 1 is figuring out where you want your box. We used our box jack here and it wasn't quite tall enough, so we grabbed the handy little Lynx levelers to bring it up where we wanted it. This is Ethan's truck. He thought it would be cool if the top of the box was about right with the top of the tire, but he's got these little 33s on here and we all want him to run 35, so I'm going to stick it a little bit higher, give him that incentive. All right, Ethan, go ahead and mark the holes you've got back there. Next step is to drill the holes. I'm always a fan of starting with a pilot size. I've got something like an 1/8 or so here. And I'm going to drill up one size above 1/4 of an inch. We use 1/4 hardware, so I'm going to go up to a 5/16, and that'll give us just a little bit of wiggle room. And as always, measure twice, cut once. This kind of tells the story. We measured 3 times, and we're just going to drill once. Now we're ready to put it on. So I'm going to prep my hardware, which by the way is in the bag labeled box mounting hardware. I'm going to run my bolts from the inside of the box out. It's really up to you and it will depend on your application. But I do want to have the sealing washers, the bonded washers, against the inside of the box. So I'm prepping my hardware with the sealing washers so that when I'm holding this thing in place, I have it all ready to go. Also, you're going to want to have your 5/32 handy, and for the back side, the nuts will use a 7/16 socket. So I'm going to set this in place and start putting the bolts in, and Ethan will put the nuts on and tighten them down. And now Ethan's ready to go camping. That wraps up our video. If you guys have any questions, reach out to us at backwoodsadventuremods.com.